Hey guys, back again for another vlog. This time is going to be our year-end review. So take a look at how the year has gone, what's happening, and what to look forward to in the coming year. Going ahead and pre-recording this a little early, just in case I don't have the opportunity to do it closer to the end of the year. It's actually early December at time of this recording. So yeah, let's take a look at what's happening this year and what to look forward to in 2020. So first up, overall this channel has actually had a decent amount of growth this year. As of December 10th, when I'm recording this, we grew by basically almost 100 subscribers. Right now it's sitting at 84 new subscribers, so I thank you guys for that. This is meaningful mainly because of just how the YouTube algorithm monster works, likes, subscribes, and all that. So any chance you guys, can click that like and subscribe, it does matter, as it does help boost the visibility of the channel, which means videos get seen more, which leads to more growth, and so on and so on. So for new people who are subscribing, thank you. I appreciate you guys stopping by and subscribing. For those of you who have been here for a long while, again, you're just as equally thanked for sticking around. So, obviously this year we've had a couple of bumps, the biggest being the hard drive failure back in August. Not being able to do much for about a month and a half really kind of sucked. And obviously once we did get the drive back, it does take a little bit of time just to get things back to going again. So hopefully next year we won't have that problem again. If we do, say I'm going to be pissed is an understatement, as I've basically gone through, I want to say 3 of those drives in the span of about 2 years. As the original drive that failed replaced, obviously failed in 2018. So that's 1. That drive failed. That's 2. And then another drive that I used for just general stuff also failed about a month and a half ago now. So that's 3 drives, same drive type, that failed in the span of 2 years. That's pretty bad. And I don't know if this is a result, just a side effect of the floods that happened in Thailand, where hard drives are primarily manufactured, and it's just taking forever to get all the bugs, problems, and whatnot in the manufacturing supply line worked out. But yeah, I would say if it's a drive that was in production about that time frame, I would avoid it. The other issue, which could be a possibility, is because all of these drives were 10 terabyte drives, is that there's a problem either in terms of, the manufacturing process is just needing to be that tight a tolerance level, and they're not able to maintain it, or there's an issue with just the nature of how they're sealing them. I think they're sealed with helium in them, and it's entirely possible that the seals with time go bad, and you then have issues there. So I think there's problems there. So it could, like I said, could be manufacturing, it could be design. That's the problem. I don't know. So that is something to be aware of. And hopefully, as I said, we won't have that issue again. Now, basically, I have 2 external hard drives dedicated just to backing up that drive. One of these days, I do need to get around to building a NAS. It's gotten to that point where I really could use one. Have some ideas, what I would consider a two-stage approach: initial, proof of concept stage, and then final implementation. But those are down the road at this point. So hopefully, I'm thinking maybe next year of building the initial one, just so that I can finally have a little more, space for storage. Longer term, my goal is to eventually build not only a NAS, but also build a dedicated render bot, so that I'm not tying up my desktop rendering videos. So that basically, I'd like to get it so that my sort of workflow would be record the video, dump it onto the NAS, then when I go to edit it, I can do all the editing, linking into the render bot, get all that done, have the render bot render the file, and then dump it back onto the NAS, and then whenever I want to, I can upload the file to YouTube. Which, obviously, issues I'm hitting there is I'm not sure if it's just I need to buy better internet, or if it's some connection, or if it's YouTube. Because right now, my typical choice of doing it is I'll leave the file uploading overnight, and usually by the morning it's done. But with how YouTube's recently changed their studio thing, you can't queue up uploads, or at least I haven't figured out how to get it to do that, which is a bit of a bummer, as it does mean I can only upload one video at a time. So that's where we are with that. Again, looking into 2020, right now, as of December 10th, I have review videos recorded out until November of next year. So we are just shy of a full year of review videos done. Planning to get a couple more videos recorded today. I'm hoping I can basically have next year's review videos completely recorded, and ideally maybe one or two into 2021. I'll discuss more on that in a little bit, but yeah, we're definitely ahead of the curve on review videos. Now, as far as the full build series goes, that's sort of become this channel's problem child as far as getting content out. When I initially thought of doing these videos, I knew there'd be more involved, but I'll admit I was overambitious. It's turned into a bigger project than I thought it would be. Obviously, this first series, I'm learning a lot, but it's taken a lot longer to do than I initially thought it would. So at the moment, I do have the next one recorded, uploaded, and scheduled. It will tentatively come out in February of next year, and I'm going to try to get it again so that we're going monthly on that. After this particular series, how I do it's going to, at least as far as editing, is going to change. I'm going to condense it a lot more, which I think was my mistake. I sort of did it almost the same as some build streams, just showing everything. Going forward, I'm going to try and edit it down significantly, because I really do not want to have these big, huge, 6-part episodes and all that. I don't want to do that again. It takes way too long to do them. It takes way too long to record for them. It takes too long to do the narration for. It takes just too much time to get them done. And let's face it, time is money. So yeah, the next one of those, I'm going to pare it down in terms of the amount of size significantly. So that is something to be aware of moving forward. For the current one, probably 2 more episodes in the fuselage, 1 or 2 for the engine. I'm leaning towards it might be just 1, because I don't recall when I initially built the kit it taking super long. But I think that I can do in 1 episode, and then 1 for the base. So that would probably put us, I want to say, May or June time frame for the Stearman being totally done and on YouTube. Probably be a little bit of a break after that, just to reevaluate everything, see how where we're at, and before we pick up the next one. As far as other stuff I'm doing, the convention slideshow videos, that's another one that's going to have some changes coming to it as well. That's mostly due to the fact that we've almost caught up to parity. Right now we have 2017 to get through, 2018, and then this year 2019. So that being said, what I'm thinking of doing with that series is moving it from being a monthly release schedule and bringing it down to a quarterly release schedule. This would basically buy us a little more time, because I think that would basically allow us to do 2017 and 2018 next year, and then do 2019 or the first 2 quarters of 2021, and after that it will basically be moved down to a special series, basically Saturday release. In terms of how often or how quickly I can turn around and get photos out, I don't know. Again, there's a lot of variables in play there, so I think that type of schedule would work. I may even just keep it as a quarterly thing, as that would at very least give me enough time to get the photos edited and everything done for the videos there. So that's where we're at that. Now, as far as streaming goes, that's where we've hit another few issues. Mostly, again, that's from the hard drive failure. As it got us out of the habit of doing it, and I am going to try to get back into it again. Sort of been dabbling a little last few weeks. Some of it's just I haven't had time. I'm trying to get other things done, and that's the big problem there, is just having time. As far as the build stream goes with the Lightning, I am planning to pick that up some more, as I do have sort of the goal of getting that done for Sprewfest in late January, or at least that's my tentative goal, is I'd like to have that one done so I can bring it for that. As far as game streams, that's whenever I can. So that's a little easier to plan for, but again, it's just having the time. Now, as far as looking forward to 2021, or excuse me, not 21, 2020, as far as model events go, the ones I have definitively planning on going to are Sprewfest in early January up at Brookhouse Hobbies. I'd like to get to ValleyCon this year in early March up in Pasadena, and then obviously local event San Diego IPMS is definite. Beyond that, though, things get a little iffier. I'll get into that in a little bit. Oh, almost forgot. It just made a noise. One of the things I picked up for Black Friday was a laser printer. My hope with that is to eventually be able to start doing some more decal work at least as far as some more custom stuff. And we'll see where that goes. I'm still really new to it and want to play around with it. Large reason I got it was because of the Toyota Alphard Edisha kit that I was working on. One of the decals just completely went to hell, and tried replacing it with inkjet ones, and that was a complete disaster. I wasted a lot of decal sheets trying to fix that problem. So, got the laser printer. That's going to let us do some stuff we weren't able to do before. And we'll see what happens there and where things go. I'm hopeful I can use it to, maybe add some, we'll spice some of these other projects. One thing I do eventually want to do is some more, custom kit type work. But again, that's unfortunately on a farther out time horizon. Just where I am right now, some of these kits unfortunately will need to be just straight builds. Try to build down the stash, as it were. That's a problem if you're at all into model building, that eventually becomes a problem. So that's where we are with that. Now, where things start getting nebulous is later in 2020. That's because something that I've known has been on the horizon may finally actually be happening next year. Tentatively, my family is now kind of set on making the jump, and basically will be moving from California to Florida. That's tentatively the goal. We don't have any type of dates or anything like that, but we do know we want to do this. We're done with California. We're tired of taxes. We're tired of regulations. Tired of spending basically $2 more per gallon every time we fill up. We're just done with it all. So, yeah, obviously, that's a big move. And that's also going to mean a lot of downtime. Because I figure it's probably going to take me at least a month or two to get everything reset up, get everything sort of where I want it, and be ready to do much of anything. On top of that, hopefully I'll have my instructor rating by then, and that's going to carry a whole slew of things that go with it there. So, like I said, that's part of the reason why I'm trying to get all these review videos done, is because realistically, I don't know when I'll be able to do more after that move, just because there's so many things that are going to be up in the air, so many things changing, that I cannot with any certainty say that yes, I can do X, Y, and Z. So that's sort of where we are with there. Obviously, once things do get sort of settled there, we can start getting things going again. But obviously, moving cross country is a very, very big move, big change. So I really don't know what's going to be happening there. So I am trying to get out in front of this just in case. And like I said, today I'm trying to finish up getting reviews shot for all of next year. I'm ideally want to get at least one or two videos shot for 2021 if I can, because that's probably what's going to be affected more than anything at this point. Now, as far as everything else is concerned, I don't know. I mean, this is where having this kind of move, I don't know. Everything basically, I want to say from August to September timeframe on is completely unknown. That also does include SCGMC next year. I have no idea if I'll be able to make it. there's just so much going on at this point that I know ahead of time might be issues that I cannot say for anything. Just there's so many unknowns, or at least things I know could cause problems that I cannot commit to saying yes or no to things, and at the same time there's a lot of unknowns that could become problems. So that's but the reality is this is something I've been hoping and planning to do for a long time now, and this is going to be a pretty big change, and I'm hopeful a year or two after that to finally get a place of my own. That when that happens, that's going to be the big change, especially for this channel, as now I can do a lot more when that happens, as I won't have to deal with anyone else. I can just do what I need to do and get it done. And hopefully it'll also mean, basically it means more content will be able to be put out. So that's where we are with that. Before I forget again, one thing with regards to review videos of next year, I probably should have said this when I initially started talking about review videos, but as far as subject matter goes, I'm sticking. Next year is going to be primarily focused on doing anime and sci-fi kits. I've built up a decent amount of backlog on those. Want to get those all reviewed out so that then we can have them open for streaming subjects, or build stream subjects and full builds, and just basically so that I can build down the backlog there. I will spice in a couple of other kits here and there, but that's what we're looking at for next year as far as review videos are concerned. Now, moving on to another couple of topics that I feel like are going to have to be discussed at this point. Two big ones being the changes coming to YouTube's term of service as far as the quote commercial viability of channels, and COPPA. Now, if you haven't been paying attention at all for what's going on YouTube, COPPA is basically the Child's Online Protection Act, initially passed back in the 90s and amended in 2013. It basically says that you cannot collect the data of children, basically anyone aged 12 and under. And unfortunately, YouTube screwed up and was basically doing that. And part of the settlement, they're sort of passing the buck on to us channel creators. One of the things we had to do in the last few weeks was to identify, is your content directed at kids, yes or no? And unfortunately, this is where a lot of the problems are arising. As the law is written so broadly, so basically gray, people don't know if what's going to happen is the big thing. Yeah, a lot of content is generally more towards adults, but it's unfortunately there's so much gray area that no one is 100% sure if their content is going to fall into being affected by this. And the worst part is the fact that YouTube, for some reason, decided not to include a general audience option. Something which is included in the law that gives you an out if your content is sort of not directed at kids, adults, or anything, just sort of a general audience to be out there, which is the bulk of the content on YouTube. So, people are legitimately concerned. We really don't know what's going on. And you combine that with some of the comments from the FTC saying that they are going to be going after creators, and given how stiff the fines are, up to $42,000 per video, it's got a lot of people scared. I'm equally concerned. Yeah, my content isn't necessarily targeted to kids, but it's at the same time a general audience subject. So obviously, yeah, I'm a little concerned. Now, hopefully, we'll get to hear some more clarification next couple of weeks before this takes effect. But yeah, a lot of people are panicking, and especially here on the modeling side, as kids do build model kits. Obviously, it's not as prevalent as it used to be, but it is still something that could fall under this. So, in that regards, obviously, I am concerned. Am I, packing in saying we're done? No. Obviously, if you're watching to this point, yeah, I'm not going anywhere at this point. However, depending on what the clarification comes as, I may have to do some stuff that I'd rather not. And, it could be I have to, restrict everything I have to 18 plus as a way to try to make sure I stay within the law. But at the same time, I'm not even sure doing that will. The other issue is, since my channel isn't monetized, and there shouldn't be any ads being shown, as that's where the main issue came from, was the fact that they were basically tracking the data of the kids so that they could serve the targeted ads. I don't know if I'm even going to be affected by any of this to begin with, simply because I'm not monetized. So there is, yeah. YouTube has basically thrown creators under the bus on this. So that also leads us into the next issue, is this whole concept of commercial viability. YouTube has basically said, if your channel's not commercially viable, we're not really going to be doing stuff with you. So that's where another issue is coming. People don't know what exactly that means. Does it mean if your channel's not monetized that YouTube's just basically going to pull the plug on you? Or does it mean, content-wise? Or, what does this exact terming of commercial viability mean? And does it mean that YouTube now is going to potentially start charging people to host the videos? I honestly don't know. And YouTube basically not giving us any real clear cut saying, if you are this, and this, then you're good. But if you're this, and that, you're not good. So again, YouTube is very much trying to throw smaller and medium creators under the bus. It's increasingly looking like YouTube does not want us on their platform. So that, combined with all this COPPA nonsense, could mean that this channel doesn't exist anymore sometime next year. I honestly don't know what's going to happen in that regard. Obviously, I'm going to still try to keep doing things as we've been doing. However, I do think I am going to need to take some steps to basically safeguard my content. So one of the things I've started looking at, I haven't really done anything with, but I've thought about maybe starting a BitChute channel just as sort of a backup, so that should something happen to this channel, all my content will still be backed up, and you know what, if worse comes to worse, I can then just sort of roll into that. So one of the things I'm thinking of doing over the January break is to start uploading the back videos that are currently here on YouTube over on BitChute, just to have a secondary viewing source should the unfortunate happen. So suffice to say, there's a lot of unknowns coming in 2020. Obviously, we'll try to get through it, and hopefully will still be around for 2021. Beyond that, I really don't know what else I can do at this point. With YouTube not giving us any real clear-cut guidance, it's going to be interesting. So that's sort of where we are with things here at the close of the year. One other video I almost forgot. I had mentioned earlier in the year of doing this. Unfortunately, with the hard drive failure, I wasn't able to get around to doing this. But I still want to do sort of a 10-year anniversary video. I might do that over the January break, try to have that out when we come back in February. Because, yeah, I mean, we've been here on YouTube now for 10 years. That's an accomplishment, regardless of anything. Those sort of big milestone years are important. So, yeah, I'm hopeful to get that done, because I do want to get that. As history is important. Even just your own personal history. So look forward to that, hopefully in February. But at the moment, that's all I've got. Yeah, it's been an interesting year. We've had a decent amount of growth, and hopefully in 2020 we'll have a lot more. So, thank you guys again for sticking around, especially if you've sat through this entire video. I don't know how many of you will. To those of you who do, thank you. To all the subscribers, thank you. And to anyone who just happens to pop in, thank you for your time. So, until next time.